The ancient Romans told a story about a hero who had burnt off his own hand in order to psych out the enemy. So this is a story of a man who comes to be known as Mucius Scaevola, which means left-handed in Latin, for reasons which will become clear. The story goes that Rome was being besieged by the Etruscan king Porsenna, and Rome was on her knees. The citizens were on the verge of starvation. The city was considering surrendering. And a young man named Mucius comes to the Senate and he says, look, I am going to swim across the Tiber to the enemy camp. I'm going to disguise myself. I'm going to take a dagger and I am going to assassinate Porsenna myself. This is their last hope. So they agree. Mucius swims across the Tiber. He somehow manages to infiltrate the Etruscan camp. Everything is going well. He sees this guy in very expensive looking robes, assumes that he must be Porsenna and stabs him to death. It transpires that that was not Porsenna, that was just one of his henchmen. And so Mucius is brought before the very much still alive Etruscan king. Porsenna tells Mucius that he is going to torture him to find out information about Rome's military situation, and then he is going to kill him. But Mucius stands before Porsenna and he says, you can kill me, it's fine. There are 300 other men just as brave, just as strong as I am back in Rome, waiting to come and try and do the same thing. If you kill me, the next one will come after me, and then the next one, and then the next one. You won't know when they'll come, but they will come. And then at some point, one of them will succeed. This is obviously a complete fabrication, but it does seem to make a real impression on Porsenna, particularly because what Mucius then does is he places his right hand into the burning brazier and holds it there until the entire hand has burnt away. And he says to Porsenna, look, there's no point trying to torture me. Us Romans are tough. The sources claim that Porsenna is so impressed with this display of kind of manly courage and endurance that he pulls Porsenna away from the fire and sends him back to Rome unharmed, and then opens negotiations for a peace treaty. This story comes from what we call the legendary period of Roman history. It's 508 BC, just after the expulsion of the kings, and lots of the stories from this period, it's before written accounts, so lots of the stories have this kind of mythic quality, and a lot of the elements are almost certainly fictional. But these stories are retold and retold in later Roman history because they become exemplary demonstrations of ideal Roman virtue. And so these stories are told as a way of teaching young Romans how to be the perfect Roman man.